Okay, then you just talked about being stuck in creation. I read a statement that is really frightening, and let me just read it to our hearing. It must be that a soul will take on the whole of life, or they will stay lost in the psychic darkness, and it could be forever. As it may seem, there are still untold numbers of blind souls who have been struggling since their inception into their first mineral stages. So it's really frightful when one reads this, that people could stay in creation almost forever. So I begin to wonder whether this free will that we have, is it not a double-edged sword? Is it not a liability, or is it a supreme gift? Because I see souls, as you've said, been literally lost forever in creation. So I'll still ask: Is there nothing that life itself can do to support life, to support these lost souls to come out of this situation?
That scares you, doesn't it? Well, this is where life becomes so real that it becomes actually scary. And so again, life already is what it is. Again, it's people are thinking, and what is being presented here are thinking in the terms of creation. In other words, something created, something equals something, beginning, duration, ending, beginning, ending, whatever. They're thinking in terms of creation, and this is where it's very important. Again, recognition, all right? There's a difference. And so, just like you're saying, is the free will a liability or a gift? Well, it's both. It's everything. And this is where the fine-tuning of it becomes very interesting, to where it becomes indescribable at a certain point, to where you just simply recognize what's going on. But while we're here in creation, we have to deal with it. So while I'm here and I see the challenge, and I see, the suffering of people, how they're suffering, and they're part of life too. Their awareness is part of life, but because of the choices that they make, and mainly unconsciously agreeing to their situation. So I've decided to take on the challenge of something that makes sense, to where what was presented before doesn't make sense. And we see that on the real side, and we see it here too. It's only obvious, but again, it's very subtle. You can see how these things that have been created here, these systems, do not work at all. They have nothing to do with the environment. Again, compare the birds to the systems of restriction. What makes more sense? So what people are thinking, well, I don't want to live like the birds. Well, you can actually live and be freer than the birds, but the birds are a reference to something better than the existing system. So yes, it is so, because it's choice. All right, it's choice. And again, Harry and Darwin, especially Harry, are great examples of possibly staying here forever. No one's going to pull anybody out. You can bring somebody out of that falls into a hole, falls into a deep hole 50 feet down. You can pull them out, okay? but doesn't mean they're going to recognize how not to fall into the next hole. You see, that recognition, you can't give that to them. So, yeah, the boys can bring someone into the real universes and do everything, whatever, but it doesn't mean that that individual actually, it may make them very unstable. This is why we go a moment at a time. You can't take a 5-year-old kid and just buy him a nice little suit and stick him out there on Wall Street and expect him to figure out the stock market. Because again, he won't. He'll just be going around doing funny things. If anything, he'll disrupt things. So there is an order of things, you might say, through creation, through the process, just like in school, okay? Just like if you were in the 10th grade and they brought a little 4-year-old in there that's playing on the floor with its blocks and stuff, he's going to disrupt the class, you see? So again, what makes sense? And yes, you have free will. Is it a gift or is it a curse? Well, we use the idea of free will, and really what it refers to is that because we have the awareness to do whatever, that's really is defined as free will. But in the personal sense here, the free will is like, well, I can do whatever I want. You can't tell me what not to do. So again, then it becomes arrogance and defiance. This is where it becomes distorted in its own way. And so again, we go through the process of recognizing these things and sorting them out. But that's up to each individual. Yeah. And a lot of people, they want to stay in creation. They want to come back. They want to keep recycling. So that's a choice. So what's interesting is that right here, right now, what is being presented is for this moment. But as the moments pass and we do what we do, what is being presented now will not be recognized later on or even possibly exist. We'll be off doing something else somewhere else, and all of a sudden, where is the reference? Who will follow up? So again, it's an exceptional time right now in this moment that we're doing. And again, it's all free will, isn't it? You decide, it's your choice. Yes, that is the razor's edge, the real razor's edge. And yes, you just take your attention with your intent somewhere else and you're gone. You're out there where and never land again, and that's what you want. Hey, have fun. So again, yeah, this is a lot because it becomes that real. Yes, you can stay in creation forever. Yes, because you've decided to. So are you going to take on the challenge to wake up all the way through all these bodies and face yourself and then recognize this reality? You decide that. You are the decider. The boys can only be there, and fortunately, they are the intermediates between us and the real universes to help us get through all of this. But yeah, it is all about your free will. It's not about theirs. They're fine. It's about you. And what will you do? You see? So as we, just like the Skype here, as we get together and we have this focus, see, that makes the difference. There becomes a difference there. So I'm not saying we do Skypes for 24 hours a day. No. But you have your intent along the lines of bringing in your life and everything that you've come to experience into this focus with supporting whatever it does that supports this true reality. That's the whole idea here. Everything that I'm doing is to support this true reality in the creative sense, because no one else is doing it. Everybody else has got their cute little ideas, and they're the business world. We do, part of our stuff is what we do as business, but our intent is focused on the isness life is. The business is very, very secondary. There becomes a difference. So there again, free will, you decide.